trying to save lives. The one time their life needs to be saved. And listen, the doctors, the nurses, they were working so hard because they knew. Talk about front line. He was on the streets. He got the people before they did. And I don't know, things just started going down. And, I'm a person that, there's not really much that can come across my way that I can't kind of figure out. It's not that I know everything, I don't, but because I can kind of think my way through some things, I can kind of figure stuff out. That's how I've always been. But the day I got the phone call and they said, Miss Trevelyan, I think it's time that you come in and say your goodbyes.
What's going on, good people?
Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome to Between Friends. I'm your host, Anthony, my lovely co host, Nikki.
What's up?
Hey, hey, hey. Hope everyone is doing well. And thank you once again for tuning to our podcast. If you like what you're seeing, listening to, and you want to give us a watch, just hit the subscribe button below and let's all become friends. Uh, Now, Nikki, it's the end of the week. It's Friday. So
Yes.
I figure I'd just do a little quick check-in with you. How's the week going? How
Um,
was the week?
Week hasn't been too bad. The pollen is kicking everybody's tail around here. It is horrible. All the cars are green or yellow. Had to go pick up my daughter early yesterday because of allergies. We're messing her up. So I'm actually hoping for some rain sometime soon so we can kind of calm that down a little bit. But other than that, it was okay. I'm glad it's the weekend and I hope the weekend goes slow. So,
There you
how
go. There you go.
about
There you
you?
go. Oh man, it's actually is going pretty well. The week was good. The weather was a little funky this week. We started off with what I want to say it was. I think on Tuesday it may have gotten up here about 70 degrees here in Chicago
What?
in February, and then Wednesday it just dipped back down to the 20s, and certain areas we even got some flurries,
Oh,
and
wow.
now it's going back up. And today it's about 45 degrees, I would say about 45, 50 degrees, and warming up. So I can't complain. Um I'm in good health. Family's doing well. So week was really good. Week was really good. So I'm
Very
looking for
good.
like you. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm actually going to a. I get to put on my tuxedo this weekend. I'm going to a gala.
Okay.
It's called Jean Baptiste Dusab Gala. It's a scholarship gala. Uh, I guess the Haitian community here in Chicago, they're celebrating uh, the founder of Chicago, Mr. Dusab,
Nice.
and so I'm looking forward to that. Putting on a bow tie and getting jiggy with it, as you would say. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So today we actually have a great show for you guys. Today we have two individuals that you guys are going to love. We have Mr. OJ and Miss Adrienne, and they're here with us to share their story. And I'm looking forward to talking to them and getting to know them a little bit better. And I'm sure you guys are going to be as inspired as entertained and it might be a little bit emotional today. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to OJ and Adrienne. OJ, Adrienne, how you guys doing?
I feel good, doing good.
How's the week going?
Pretty good. I mean, can't complain. Everything's okay.
You, Adrienne?
And it's Friday, so TGIF.
It was one of those weeks, huh?
Hmm.
Mm, I got it. I got it. Well, again, welcome to our show. I'm glad you guys are taking some time out of your busy schedules and busy lives to talk to our subscribers, and we're looking forward to talking to you guys and learning a little bit more about your stories. You know,
Sounds
uh,
good.
so kind of just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
I am a small business trucker. Um,
Hmm.
I've been
Honk honk.
I've been in the trucking business for 20 years now, since 2004.
Okay.
Um, I started my own company in 2012, so I'm about 12 years in with my own small business company. And like I say, uh, I have three daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and just recently, actually, just recently became a grandparent.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh,
Well,
my
so now they call
goodness.
you
Congrats.
Grandpa OJ.
Yeah,
Grandpa
yeah.
OJ.
Wow.
It was a good run, Shaggy, but I am a grandparent now.
Oh, oh.
But
Well, I am seeing the grays.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I say, yeah, I have three daughters, and like I say, I live in Atlanta. Well, I live in Dallas, Georgia. It's
Okay.
the you know Atlanta metro area.
Yep. Yep.
So, and like I say, I've been living here since 2006.
Okay.
So it's been a while. And, but yeah, like I say, yeah, no, I've made my home and my life here in the Atlanta area, and raised my daughters here. You know, so me and my now past wife.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to live here and raise our family here.
Okay. Nice. Well, welcome to the show, man.
Yes,
Thank you.
Grandpa OJ.
welcome.
Uh, Adrian.
I am, let's see, by trade, I am a
Mm-hmm.
respiratory therapist for 24 years. However, here recently, I too am a small business owner, and I am really been pursuing that. So I'm doing teaching CPR, basic life support, advanced life support in the I teach at a college, but I also do it, personally
Mm-hmm.
as a business. So healthcare professionals, daycare centers, lay people. So that's what I've been doing and pursuing. I am a mother of four, um, ranging
Mm-hmm.
in age. My oldest is
No
32.
way.
I know, I know, I know, I know. We're not gonna go into it. I know.
No, no,
I
no,
may
not
not
at
look
all.
old
Not
enough,
at
but at
all.
this
No,
point, I
ma'am.
am.
Absolutely not. What?
No, I'll take it. Yeah, but 32, and my youngest is 13.
Wow. Woo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she was a surprise.
Ah.
You are surprised.
So yeah, so I live here in Chicago, and yeah,
That's that.
that's that
Okay. For
for
now.
now.
Okay. That's
Yeah, like I said, nah, I didn't mention my children ages, but yeah, my oldest is 31, and
ah
my youngest just turned
Oh,
21.
okay.
So
So you
Okay.
only
oh
having
wow,
kids
just
at 10.
okay.
Basically, that's what that is. Okay. No
I
way.
mean,
What?
you know. Oh wait, I did forget to say I am a grandmother two
oh,
times over
Wow.
now for my oldest. So I have an 8-year-old granddaughter and a 5
Oh,
5-week-old
wow.
granddaughter, two
Congratulations to
girls.
you as well.
I
Oh,
too,
goodness.
I see the grays also. So yes, okay, Grandma.
Whatever. Well, this is what your parents look like.
I am
Okay,
I,
Nana.
it's
I
I
feel
Nana.
am
it.
not grandma.
It's Nana. Okay, okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you for letting us know a little bit more about yourselves. Um, so,
Hmm.
man, this as I stated earlier, this is a tough one, and I don't know. I've been struggling on how to dive in this topic, so I'm just gonna shoot at it and see where it goes.
Okay.
But if you guys don't
Okay.
mind telling us a little bit about, you know, your significant other, a little bit, how you guys met, how long uh, were you guys married, just the life that you guys built together. So if you can just share a little bit of that story with us, we would appreciate that.
My wife was Judith.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we we met in high school. I've known her.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I've known her since we were in high school.
So high school sweethearts.
For me, yes. I see. No, I mean, I can honestly tell you. Like, say, I mean, to be honest, I remember the first day I met her.
Mhm.
I say, I I transferred to. I mean, I'm a Miami Norland graduate.
Okay.
So I transferred from Pace High School. I don't know. I mean, which you might know.
I'm
Yep. Yep.
Tony, you
familiar.
might know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pace. Yeah,
Hmm.
I used to go to Pace. So
Okay.
Hmm.
I transferred from Pace High School to Norland, and that very first day when I, so when my dad, so he brought me over, so he did all the paperwork and everything, and then, they sent me to my first class. I'll never forget. It was Mr. Tully's world history class.
Mm.
So anyway, I mean, when you go to, your parents tell you when you go to a new school, sit up front, don't sit in the back, stuff like that, don't. I mean, it was little stuff like that. Anyway, I went to the class. I walked in, and it was a desk right up front, and I kind of like scanned the room a little bit, I mean, because I mean everybody's already in class. I'm walking in,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, and I saw her, and there was a seat, saying right behind us. Like she kind of smiled, but but the seat was toward the back of the class.
Mm-hmm.
So everything my dad just said just went right out the door. I went, and I sat right there next to her, and that seat in the back of the class, right there. And like I said, that was the first time. That was the first time that I met her.
Yeah.
And like I say, and just so happened, I mean, I was a cross country runner, track runner in high school. And
Mm-hmm.
it just so happened that that she was a cross country runner too. I mean, so and like I say, it turned out, like I say, matter of fact, she really was. She was a All American. What I'm saying, cross country runner, track runner. She was
Mm-hmm.
at the time. She was the one of the best in the state and one of the best. Saying obviously one of the best in Dade County.
Yep.
And but it was just funny that saying I mean, I was never on that level. I mean,
Yeah.
I was good,
Yeah.
but I wasn't on
That
that level.
level. Okay.
But yeah, and like I say, I remember, uh, that was like I said, that was the first time that
That you met her.
that that saying yeah that I
Mm-hmm.
met her, and
Yep.
so we saying went through high school and everything. I mean, and like I said, we really. I don't know. She really looked at me as just a friend, I
Okay.
mean, I said I went off to school and everything like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and then just, I mean, which was probably a good thing, And then, like I say, when I,
Double
you know,
back.
yeah, when I come back home and stuff like that, but like I said, we ended up getting together years down the line. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, it's fun, like I said, but I really do. I can remember that first day
For sure. For
that I
sure.
met her.
Yep. Now, how long were you guys married?
We officially got married in 2007. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as I'm concerned, I've been married since 1998.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. As far as government, some government paperwork,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, from 2007. Yeah, but like I say, when I was home in like 1998, like I say, I'd already made up in my mind right then and there. That was it for me.
That was it for you. Now,
Yeah,
you were ready. You were ready to
yeah,
settle down.
yeah.
And
She was it for me.
Judith was it. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's awesome. Adrian?
Yeah, so I was working at hospital in the western suburbs, and at the time, it wasn't really a heavily populated with black employees
Mm-hmm.
hospital. So I was working in the pharmacy then, and when Rob, my husband, he started working in the emergency room, and I remember taking some medication to the pharmacy. I mean, taking some medication to the emergency room, and I saw him because we had one black doctor in the ER and one black desk clerk. Maybe a couple black nurses, but not too many. So when I saw him, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I got back to the pharmacy and was like, "Y'all, it's a black man working in the in the ER." I was like, "And he is handsome." And he came to the pharmacy window for something, and I was like, "Oh, I'll help him." And we kind of started talking, kind of chatting, and I just remember thinking, this man is unlike anybody I've ever met. He is so mannerable, and just seems so
Mm.
wise. Well, come to find out, he was a few years older than I was, so it made so much more sense that he just had this way about him, this manner about him. So needless to say,
Mm.
I was smitten from the beginning. Not only was I impressed that he held his own in that ER, where he wasn't amongst many peers, but they loved him. And, you know, that's just who he was. So we were listening to OJ, it made me think about myself. Technically, we were together for 11 years before
Mm.
we got married. And we got married in
oh wow.
2007, just like
Mm-hmm.
he and
Yes,
Judith
sir.
did. So we got married in 2007 as well. And up until, he passed, we were married technically for 13 years, but it would have been 24 years
Ball and
that we
chain
had
for
been
24 years.
together.
Awesome.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's great. Now, I know we both, you guys, Judith and Rob, how would you guys describe them? Those two individuals. How would you describe them? If you had to describe, you know, Judith and you had to describe Rob, how would you describe them?
I would say Judith was very, very lively. She was the life of the party. She was just fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
She was, like I say, very personable. Like, so no matter, she just one of those people that you just notice.
Yeah.
It's like, uh, I mean, yeah, like I say, no, she was a great person. Best, yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. Just lively, full of life, and just a lot of fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up, man. Now, did you compliment her spirit? Would you consider yourself the life of the party also, or more the laid
No,
back?
no. No. I would say I'm more of a laid back person.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't never describe myself as the life of the party.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, like I said, no. So, but yeah, like so. We kind of went good together.
Yep, yep.
Because yeah,
They
like I
they
said,
they say opposites attract, right?
Mhm.
So
yeah,
So
Yeah, like I said, but I wouldn't necessarily say we was opposites,
mm-hmm.
but you know, but you know what I'm saying, but definitely she was a lot more, I mean, outgoing,
Point.
you know.
That makes
And
sense. That makes sense. And
yeah,
and and,
man.
and Rob.
Rob definitely was very laid back, not an upfront type of dude at all. But because of who he was, people were
Mm-hmm.
attracted to him. So even though he wasn't an upfront type of guy, he still drew the people in. You know, he could definitely carry a room. He definitely had a voice that um when he spoke, people listened. Um and what people don't know about him though is that he was just very silly and he loved to laugh, and but because he was like Rob, big guy, big stature, people just he definitely garnered a lot of respect and so forth, and and admiration,
Mm-hmm.
including from me. I respected the type of
Nice,
person that he
nice.
was.
Now, do you guys remember your wedding day?
Yeah, I do.
You want to share? You want to share a little bit with us?
Me, well, okay. We initially, all right, let me see, because we moved to Atlanta in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and but we had been when we were still in Miami, we had been planning a wedding. I really don't know what happened with the wedding plans. You know me. Like see,
Just going with the flow, right?
yeah, So, but yeah, like I said, when we were in South Florida, yeah, we were going through the wedding plans. She was planning. I mean, we had. Uh, I can kind of remember getting venues and stuff like that, and I don't remember what happened. But okay, but we ended up once we moved to Atlanta, and then we ended up going to the courthouse in Tennessee. Um, it was my oldest daughter. Well, my daughter's like I told y'all before. We ran track. You know what I'm saying? We're a track family. I mean, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we were at the Junior Olympics. This was in, like I said, in 2007. It was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I don't remember. Like I said, I just remember we got up. Like I said, we were there that weekend for the track meet with my daughters, and then it was all three of us. And then me and Judy, we just got up and we took the youngest girl, my youngest daughter, with us at the time. Because she was like 5 at the time. She was born in 2000. No, she was like 4 or 5 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the courthouse in in Knoxville and got married.
Wow.
I'd say but I mean, when we were still in South Florida, I can't quite remember exactly why everything didn't happen then,
Mm-hmm. You
but
know.
yeah, we went to the courthouse in Tennessee. Like I said, it was like I said, yeah, we was in Knoxville for the Junior Olympics because my daughters were running. My oldest daughter was running at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know before her race, we just got up, went to the courthouse, and we got married.
Everything happens when it's supposed to happen, man. You know, because sometimes you can have the best plans, and the best plans don't always pan out. And I'm sure like you said you can remember like it was yesterday. So you
Yeah,
remember every detail of that experience. So it was when it happened, it was supposed to happen at that particular time. So that's what's up, man. And
and you know
go ahead.
what? Well, as we're sitting there thinking, I mean, well, as you were sitting there talking, I remember some of the details at the time. Okay, when we were still in Miami, uh, I remember now. Okay, as we're talking about it, we were planning a wedding, but it's like I don't know. In my mind, I was thinking like, because at the time we didn't have a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, what I'm saying, and that was another reason why we moved to Atlanta, because what I'm saying, because at that time, like I say, early 2000s, whatever, when we was trying to be first time home buyers, houses were houses down there were going like 300,000, 350,000, right? And then at the time, I was like, I mean, I couldn't. I mean, so I was like, I couldn't see spending $20,000, $30,000 on a wedding. I don't have a house yet. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So then, once again, that we moved to Atlanta. I mean, to like Georgia, and basically, I mean, the house that we're in now, we got for 128,000, and it was like I mean, we got way more square footage and everything than the 350,000 was looking for in
In
Florida.
South Florida.
That's what it was. I
There you
remember
go.
now.
There you
So
go.
it was like, yeah, and I don't know. I was, and then that might have been a reason why it took so long for us to get married. I mean, because initially, then like I said, I can remember now. Cause I said, because I was thinking, I never, I didn't never really ask her because I was waiting, saying to get the big ring, this and that. And I remember her telling me she don't need all that.
Mm.
And like I said, 'cause I remember I was trying to wait to get, to get the ring and
Yeah.
this, that, and that's,
Yeah.
but they're like, yeah, saying before even having a house, I mean, I was like, I mean, I can't see you spending $20,000, $30,000 on, sitting on the wedding.
And
And
then don't have the house,
right,
someplace to move in. Now that you
yeah,
have this family, now
right,
am I
right,
still gonna live with my mom at my mom's house, or which is not a
exactly,
bad thing if you have a plan.
exactly,
As long as
exactly.
you have a plan. So I'm not trying to
So
knock
yeah,
anybody that do something like
yeah,
that.
exactly,
But it's great that she saw the importance, of having a home
right,
and
right,
building a family the right way, and
right,
was not in a rush to force you to, as they would say, put a ring on it. She already had you, and
right,
you weren't going nowhere, right?
right,
So
right. So
it seemed
yeah,
like everything basically worked out. And,
yep. And we went to
you
the
know,
courthouse there. Yeah, we
yep,
went to the courthouse, in 2007. In Knoxville, at women daughter doing the Junior Olympics, and then like I say 2 years later we bought this house. Yep.
that's awesome, man.
Nice.
That's awesome. Adrian,
Yeah. Our wedding day was I don't know, I loved our wedding because we paid for it ourselves. Um and so maybe it wasn't like super extravagant, but I think it was like really nice, and we were really proud that we were able to do that ourselves. We were definitely adults, but we weren't like we hadn't hit it big where we were like we can just pay for this uber expensive wedding, but we had a really good, really really good wedding. And the one thing that I remember about our wedding, and I remember every single thing, but one thing that I loved is the groom's cake. Um Rob's favorite dessert
mm,
was carrot cake. And when we were doing cakes and stuff like that, and I'm not a big cake with buttercream person. So I wasn't even really impressed with the wedding cakes because I'm like, I don't even like buttercream. So I know I'm not going to eat the cake. And then they were like, oh no, we can do whipped cream. And they're like, I was like, you can do whipped cream for my cake. So that made me excited. But my husband, he wasn't a big cake person except carrot cake. He
mm-hmm.
loved carrot cake. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get him a groom's cake. It'll be carrot cake, but I didn't want the wedding, the banquet hall. I didn't want them to make the cake. So I was like, if I'm getting him carrot cake, I need to get him his favorite carrot cake. Well, okay, that's not going to be a design or anything like that. It's just going to be the cake that he loves. So I went to J. Alexander and was like, hey, I need to order like a quarter sheet cake of the carrot cake. And they were like, okay, sure. Of course, they couldn't write on it or anything like that. But at the time, I was like, it's okay. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? The decorator's cake. My husband was a paramedic for Chicago Fire Department. So I was like, I'm buying some ambulances, some fire trucks, some firemen, and I'm sticking them on this cake. And he thought that cake was amazing. I was like,
Mhm.
simple things. And that's just something I remember because little things pleased him. So that was something like, even in my mind, it's just so clear how happy he was when he saw that cake and knew that it was from J. Alexander. And he was like, babe, you put ambulances on here and stuff like that. And I'm not creative at all. But I was like, at least so we can have a little something. So y'all, I didn't even eat my wedding cake besides that little piece that we sliced and gave each other. I was like, baby, I want some of your
Mhm.
cake. So we ate his cake later. So that's like a big memory
That's
from
awesome.
our wedding day.
That's awesome.
Mhm. Yes, sir. You turn it over to me now.
Hey, hey, you go ahead.
Let's see. Is there a particular lesson or insight that you learn from your spouse at any time through your dating, through your marriage, after you had kids? Anything that you can say, this is something you would carry out? You know what I mean? Like, this is something that, or saying that your family has, made into a tradition.
I'll let you go, Adrian. I got to think about it. Think on that one for a second.
Okay. Um, so two things came to mind when you asked that. The first thing is just in our
Hmm.
communication with one another. I remember being at anytime we would have a discussion that wasn't necessarily a pleasant discussion, I, for some reason, I always came from the point of view that it wasn't actually my fault, but what was wrong was his fault. And and I was very clear on why I actually was not at fault for any of this, and it was on him. But I remember, and it stuck with me. I remember my husband saying to me one day, my Adrienne is my middle name, but everybody in my life calls me Adrienne, but Adele is actually my first name. And I remember him saying to me, Adele, it, are you at fault for anything? Do you ever do anything wrong? And I was like, well, wait now. Do I? Yeah, I do stuff wrong. And he was like, because it doesn't seem like it. It seems like I'm the only one that we ever discussed about what's. But that right there was a day of awakening for me, just to realize that in a relationship, if it takes two, then that means that two of us have played a part in just about
Right.
everything that's going on, right? So it just helped me that day to be more accountable. And I'm telling you, I live my life this way now. Like, what
Mhm.
part did I play in this? Because even though I was being very finger pointing, like,
Hmm.
it's you, it's you, it's you. When he asked me, did I do anything? Did I ever do anything wrong? Do I have a part in it? It made me really take a step back and look. And I'm
Wow.
telling you, to this day, I live my life like that. What part did I play in it? When I'm talking to my friends, even in their marriages, okay, you told me
Mhm.
everything he's done wrong. Now
Mhm.
tell me, what did you do? Because there's always another part to it. So that's how I try to live my life, period, in my interpersonal relationships, friendships, however it goes. What part did I play in it? Now, even if that part is minimal or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
something my husband taught me that. And then the other thing really was just the importance of family. He was
Mhm.
big on his family. Everything he did was for this family. He would sacrifice himself for this family. So when I'm just thinking back to even when he was passing, and the last phone call he made to me, it was a FaceTime call because we couldn't
Mhm.
visit in the hospital. And he said to me, I need you to be strong and hold down the family. And so being here for my family and being strong and making sure that as a family
Mm.
we stick together, that we have each other's back, that we support each other, that we, even when we disagree, that we don't let it fester and hold on too long. I am so sorry
No,
I'm
it's
going
no
here
problem.
already, but
Don't.
that's something. That's those are the two things. Accountability and just family. The
Yeah.
importance
That's
of
Yeah.
awesome.
family.
That's awesome.
Jay.
Well, with me, I say I really don't have a good answer. The things that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't have a good. I really don't have a good answer for that question. Like I said, because a lot of this stuff, I mean, I haven't really thought about or really this is the first time me speaking. I mean, since speaking um, on on anything close to the subject. I mean, because like I
Mm-hmm.
say, after saying after her passing and stuff. I mean, um, my daughters they did the counseling and stuff like that. A little bit of it, but I haven't. I mean, I haven't. Uh, I haven't really, really sat and thought on these issues. But yeah, I mean, but listening to Adrienne, like I say I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it.
Yep. Yep.
I
No,
don't.
no, no, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
That's
that's
perfect
Yeah.
yeah.
because sometimes again as someone as folks, a lot of people say this. We all grieve differently, and sometimes, not thinking about certain things is our way of dealing with certain things, and as crazy it may sound, but it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but sometimes, just, you know, uh, putting certain things in a compartment and maybe we'll open that box later, but that's our way of grieving, that's our way of grieving. Now, and I love to hear the stories and whatnot. We are getting a little bit more emotional now. So my question to both of you guys: do you mind sharing a little bit about that loss? How did Judith and Rob pass?
All right. Well, um, Judith, she passed on. It was May 22nd, 2020. Um, the cause of death was listed as cardiac arrhythmia.
Mm.
Um, by because of what they call because of myocardial fibrosis. That's what they so that's what was listed as
Mm-hmm.
cardiac arrhythmia due to myocardial fibrosis.
Mm.
Um, but the coroner said, well, yeah, it was so that the myocardial fibrosis was there, but it it wasn't it wasn't to the level that should have caused her to pass.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the that's what the cause was. Yeah, like I say, I like I said that day. I mean, I was with her. It was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I had you know I had I mean like I say I'm over the road trucker. So basically saying that day I came and saying parked my truck, and like I said she came and picked me up. It was regular day. When she came and picked me up, we ran around. I mean saying did a couple of errands. Paid this here, went down, went by the bank. Just normal stuff. It was just say riding, talking, having a good time. And then I say we might have got something to eat. And came home, And I remember, I came home. I've been out. Took a shower and everything, and then, you know, we were, so it was just there in the room, together and everything, and I don't know, she just, like I say, I didn't. I mean, well, she kind of sat up and was like, she said, "Ooh, my chest was hurting." And then, like I said, but once again, I wasn't. It wasn't registering me that, I mean, that there's something wrong. And then, like I say, she wasn't. I didn't know the extent to what she was going through.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she was like, what I'm saying, so I'm gonna take a shower or whatever. So she went in the shower, and you know, and I actually, like I say, I stood there, and I was kind of like holding in the shower there a little bit. She was like, since she was hot or whatever. And then when she came back, I don't know, I just started stuff started going off in my head. Then I'm like, okay, something right, but she really wasn't saying,
Mm-hmm.
saying what's like wrong with her. So I'm like, I told her, man, so let's just let me. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. She like, no, she didn't want to go to the hospital. She said, I mean, she didn't want to go. She was like, let's just go to the urgent care. She didn't want to go to the hospital. So, but then like I say, I'm like, man, in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, if this actually really something wrong, we're gonna end up at the hospital anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, nah, you just go to the hospital. Like I said, because she didn't want to go, and so I'm like, she's like, all right. Anyway, um, so so get it dressed and we head out the door. Because my daughters, they were the two younger ones. They were at home, so they're like, where are you going, whatever. I'm like, we, I'm about to take your mom to the hospital just to make sure she okay. And then, like I said, we got in the car, we got in my truck, and then, like I said, as we going down the road, I mean, I say, I don't know, I'm kind of worried. I'm thinking, like I say, 'cause she says she fine, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, since she worried, and then, like I say, I'm rushing down the road, and I remember one time, like I say, because coming down my road, it's kind of a windy road,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, I didn't go run off the road, but like I say, I what I'm saying? And then it's funny because at that moment, one of the last things she said to me. And so when I did that, she kind of giggled and was like, "Hey, slow down, babe." You know what I'm saying? Oh, everything is okay. We fine.
Mm-hmm.
And those really was the last words she really said to me. She was like, she smiled. It was like, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine." And but like I say, and as I get out onto the main road, I'm headed to the hospital, and she started to go into distress, and at that time, like I say, I don't know. I've often thought about it, but at that time, like I say, I'm going down the road, and she started to go into distress a little bit. So I started to gun the truck, because when you get into town, it's a fire station there. I was headed to the fire station. Like, I'm just trying, like I say, because I mean, I don't know. I couldn't. In my mind, I'm thinking by the time I call somebody to get somebody there, I'm thinking the fire station right there, I can get to the fire station.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gunning it going down the road, and see when I pulled into that fire station, that like the one time all the doors were closed, wasn't nobody there.
Mm.
It's like, and, and so I pulled. I mean, and it's like even to this day, every time I go by there, I'm always looking, and it's like every time it's somebody there.
Mm.
And the one time that I needed somebody to be there, but
Nobody.
and then I said, and like I said, when I think about it, somebody might have been there, but like I say, all the doors was down, all the trucks, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody was gone. And then, and like I say, so, and I'm on the phone. Um, I don't know. It was just a crazy time. I mean, like I say, my whole thing was my whole mindset was to get it to the hospital, so get to the fire station, and then like I said, and then like I said I did get 911 on the phone, and they were, like I say, once again, because I'm flying down the road, I figured I can get to the hospital, like I said, because she was still, I mean, she's still moving and everything, and like I say, still she was still there with me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, but like I said, but I finally got to the hospital, and I thought everything would be good, but it wasn't.
It was. It was.
It wasn't. So I mean, I mean, yeah. But like I said, yeah, I said, yeah, that was that Friday, May 22nd, 2020. Um, it, like I said, yeah, they said it was a cardiac arrhythmia.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. That's heavy. That's
but
heavy.
that's what, yeah, and that was that though. I mean,
Here we are.
I don't know. I kind of, I don't know. I kind of feel like if she would have went into more of a distress while we were still at the house, it I don't know. It's kind of hard. I think. I mean, I would have been in the situation I need to actually maybe do CPR or whatever, and, what I'm saying, and keep it going. But it was in the truck, and I was just thinking, get it to the,
But
saying, get her there,
but you know what, man? I personally believe that you did what you needed to do, what
Mhm.
you thought you needed to do. Because like you
Mhm.
said, you were
Absolutely.
gunning it.
Mhm.
And you made the decision, hey, there's a
Yeah.
fire station right there. I'm
Mhm.
going to stop at the fire station. I mean, how do you, like you
Mhm.
said, every time you drive by there, there
Right.
seemed to be
Yeah.
someone there. And the one time that you
Mhm.
stopped by, there was nobody there. So I don't, listening to you, I don't know what more you could have done.
Right.
You know, I don't know what more you could have done
Mhm.
because it sounded like you did everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of us in your shoes we would have been gunning it, and some of us may
Mhm.
not even thought about going to the fire station.
Mhm.
Because I'm
Yeah,
sitting, oh, fire station. Oh, they
And
are
then yeah, yeah,
equipped. They
yeah,
are
yeah,
trained
yeah.
on these life safety measures.
Mhm.
And for it not to have worked out how you had planned it in your head, mean
yeah.
that's no fault of yours. That's what I'm thinking. That's how
I
I see
yeah, I
it. You
agree.
know,
I agree. I feel
that's
that you
how I see
did everything that you could have done. And like Tony said, just thinking about going to the fire station, like most people wouldn't even think that. Most people would drive past the fire station to get to the hospital. And
it.
the
Hmm.
fire station is equipped with everything there plus the ambulance. So I feel like, credit to yourself. You led with your heart
Thank you.
and you did everything that you could do.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing. Seriously, that was.
Adrian.
Need to take a sip of water. I'm hugging you right now, sis.
Right.
I got you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, you know what? Before I even say that, OJ, I want to say, as somebody who has worked in many cardiac situations, I want to say that you absolutely acted appropriately. I understand you because, but I was just saying, OJ, you absolutely acted appropriately. You did what was right. And I think trying to go to the fire station, immediately I said, that was smart. That
Hmm.
was smart.
Hmm.
They have the monitors, they have everything, and I understand that they weren't there, but you did everything just fine. And,
Thank
you know, unfortunately, you know, the outcome was the outcome, but I just don't want you to carry that. I want you to know that I believe that you acted appropriately as well. Um,
thank
our story was a little different. Like I told you all, Rob was a paramedic for Chicago Fire Department. We were in the height of COVID. COVID was running rampant, and it was running rampant, especially in the area in which my husband was a medic. And my husband was not only a medic, he was the officer on his engine. So, if a patient needed to be intubated or have a tube put down their throat, he was the one doing it.
Mm.
And the majority of his patients that he interacted with at that time were COVID positive people. Um, Safety precautions, he took them. Sometimes when he would be home, still in the car, he would be wearing his mask, and I would say, "Babe, it's just us." And he said, "Babe, I wear this thing all day in the ambulance. I just forget sometimes that I even have it on." So, it's a kind of like a, I don't know, but what happened was he started feeling a little run down, and I remember saying, "Hey, you've been working so much because COVID was running rampant, people were getting sick at the firehouse, and so overtime was like becoming mandatory almost because they didn't have the manpower." And my husband was like, "Babe, I got a mandatory rehire." In fact, when I told him he couldn't go to work, they had just mandatoried him. And I was like, "Hey, you're not feeling right. You need a break." And
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, respiratory, I was seeing COVID every day. My husband dealing with COVID every day. In our minds, we didn't think it was COVID. We were thinking he's been working so long, so much. He's tired. He
Mm.
needs a break. And it started off like it was like, okay, he's starting to get a cold. And I remember the day I took him to the hospital, I was going to work. I worked at the VA. I was going to work. And my daughter was home they were doing remote learning. Our 13-year-old, well, she was 10 at the time. And she and my husband were like, I was like, "You know what, babe? Today you're not seeming like you're doing so good." And this was only over 2 days, right? He had kind of, so I was like, "Oh, you seem like you're not doing so good. Maybe I shouldn't go in." And he was like, "Babe, I'm okay. You can go to work." And my daughter was like, "Mommy, it's okay. I'll give Daddy, his tea. I made him breakfast. I had made him tea, everything like that." So when I got to work, I called my baby and I was like, "Hey, how's Daddy doing?" And she said, "He's okay, Mommy, but he's sleeping. He didn't he didn't eat his breakfast." And I was thinking, well, that's kind of weird, because he loves breakfast. Breakfast is his thing. So I was like, "Okay." So I said, "Well, do me a favor." I had left uh, a pulse oximeter there, and it's just a little probe to put on the finger so I could see what his heart rate and his oxygen level was. And I was like, "Hey, do me a favor, put this on Daddy's finger, show me what it says." Well, when she showed me, his oxygen was low, and I was like, "Okay, hey, I want you to, get Daddy up, and I'm on my way." And so I chuckle about this to this day. They call me back in like a minute or so. Now, my husband, we're both in the medical field. We're both in healthcare. We both know what to do. So my husband sits up, takes a couple of deep breaths. They call me back. His oxygen level is back up. I was like, "Good try, buddy. I'm on my way home." No, that's great. That's a great number. I'm on my way home. So when I got home, he was sitting on my son's bed, and I don't know, my husband just he was a smart guy, and he was kind of looking like, "You taking me?" And I was like, "Baby, I'm taking you to the hospital." He was like, "Okay," just kind of accepted it, like, okay. So I got him to the ER. Again, we had such strict protocols. So the ER, by the time I got him to the ER, his oxygen was down again. So they immediately put him on some oxygen. And they were like, listen, we're going to have to take him to the back, and you won't be able to go back there with him. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll wait out in the parking lot. And I remember us sitting in that ER, and there was a young man there, and he was kind of cutting up. And my husband, ever the medic, he was like, babe, it's nothing wrong with him, but he wants to lay down for a little while, and he's hungry. So I'm like, are you sure? Because he's telling them he's having stomach pains. So sure enough, they started asking him questions, and my husband was like, watch, he tell him this. And he did. And, so he was like, babe, I'm telling you, he just want to lay down for a little while, and he's hungry. So the first thing the guy asked was, can I get a sandwich? While they were trying to figure it out, it was like, well, no, sir, you kind of complaining about your stomach. We don't want to feed you. And my husband was like, I told you. He just wants to eat. And he's like, babe, I wish you could go buy him a sandwich. This is my husband. Now you sitting in here on oxygen. You want to, but that's him. He took care of his people. Out on the streets, he would say, hey, do you really need to go to the ER? Or are you hungry? Well, I'm hungry. He bought food, so he knew. So I was just saying that to say, even in his moment, he was still being the medical professional, right? So when they took him back, they did actually say, hey, we have to admit you. And it was fine. It was fine. It was fine for 13 days. He was in the hospital for 13 days. We FaceTimed. We talked so much. Talked so much. It was over Thanksgiving, so I even took him to the grocery store with me via FaceTime. I'm like, okay, well, you going to the grocery store with me. We talked so much, and then things took a turn. You know, at that point with COVID in the medical community, everything we were better than when it first started, but we still didn't have like a definitive treatment for it. So all that we could do was treat the underlying symptoms, and that's exactly what they did. And they called me and was like, hey, you know what, his oxygen is not doing well, we got to take him to the ICU. And that's
It's okay. Take your time. That's quite all right.
I don't know, you just think about when somebody spends their life trying to save lives, the
Mm-hmm.
one time their life needs to be saved. And listen, the doctors, the nurses, they were working so hard because they knew. Talk about front line. He was on the streets. He got the people before they did.
Mhm.
And I don't know, things just started going down. And, I'm a person that, there's not really much that can come across my way that I can't kind of figure out. It's not that I know everything, I don't, but because I can kind of think my way through some things, I can kind of figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've always been. But the day I got the phone call and they said, Miss Trevelyan, I think it's time that you come in and say your goodbyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, I'm I'm sorry, what did you say? And they said it again. The person said it again, and I remember I remember saying, I I don't know what to do with that.
Hmm.
I don't know how to process what you're saying to me, and I can pretty much figure out a lot of stuff. I didn't say all that part to them, but that I was just telling them, I don't I don't know what to do with that. Like, what do you mean? Come say goodbye. I'll come and pick him up,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was that. And then I was walking into work that morning, and they would call me every day and give me report every day. And this time it was a morning call. I had just walked in the hospital. And they were like, "Hey, we regret to inform you that, Robert Trevelyan has." I don't know. We, as sure as we're born, we're gonna die. I get it. The job that he worked came with risks. I get it. But to say that this thing that came out of nowhere
Hmm.
has taken the life of somebody who would give his last to anybody, I didn't get that. I didn't get that. And the clinician in me, the first thing, not even the clinician in me, the wife in me was like, "Did you all do CPR on him? Did you code him?" And they were like, "We did." I was like, "How long?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, "You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just okay. If that's what you're saying, okay." And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anything would have been better. What I do know is that as much as life has progressed and moved forward, that'll always be something that just guts me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
Thank you. Yeah, take a moment. Take a moment.
Mm. Oof.
Yeah, Adrian, he was in the same hospital that you work in.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Mm-mm. No.
Has anything surprised either one of you guys when it comes to grief? You know, because because listening to both stories, one seemed to be instant, and the other one seemed a little bit more of a progression. So it's like I'm not saying there's a good way to go, you know, but it's more. I mean, you're gonna grieve either way. So I'm thinking, is there like anything that has kind of surprised, how you've dealt with the grief, how you dealing with the grief, what have you done to deal with the grief, or did you think it would be like this, are you moving forward, I mean, I know there's a bunch of questions I just threw out in there, but more so just like, has anything surprised you guys?
Well, like I can say, like I said before, this is really my first time talking about. I mean, in this, we're almost at 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said, yeah, no, I haven't really, so had the conversations and stuff like that. And then I remember, like I said, Tony, when you asked me about doing this, I told you, I mean, I don't think that I'm really doing well with it. I mean, as far as going on, I mean, I'm doing the things that I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, as far as I don't know, as far as moving, I mean, like I say, yeah, I think I'm just kind of really just still just going through the motions more or less, like I say, because like I say, I mean, I I haven't got no kind of saying clinical diagnosis or anything like that. I don't think I'm depressed,
Yeah.
but I really don't know what that would look like. You know,
Yeah.
um, like I said, I have times when what I'm saying when like I say, I mean, I like to have good times. So with the kids, with the family. But then in good times, I'm still. I still think about it.
Yeah. You
I
wish
mean,
you wish that good time that you're having was with her. That she was
exactly,
part of that good
exactly,
time. Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like I say, uh, yeah, like I say, I yeah, I just kind of feel like I'm just just like I said, more or less going through the motion, just doing the things that I have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
That's pretty much it. Mm.
Yeah, all I can
Adrian.
say about it.
Well, I'm gonna speak here. I'm gonna let Miss Adrienne take a break. I'm gonna let her get a little moment. And I didn't share my story, but to answer your question in regards to what surprised you about grief, for me, it was the range of emotions that I went through. Um, I, of course, it was like instant, just heartbreak, because that was my mother.
Hmm.
So just to give the viewers some background, because I shared with the guests prior to, I lost my mother. It would be a year, March 28th of
Mm.
this year. And my mom had Alzheimer's dementia, and it seemed as if they diagnosed her officially at the end of 2020, and it just kind of went from there. Just
Mm.
I spent a year just kind of watching my mom just go down, 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 down. And for me, I would say that's the worst type of grieving
Mm.
because you're losing a person while you're watching them, and then when they pass you have to lose them all over again in a different type of way.
Mm.
And to me that's the worst type of grief. I mean, and not like you're going to compare, but if I had to choose, if going through that long road, if I had to choose sudden versus long, I'd take sudden. Just that's just for me where my heart is, because I felt like I had to do it twice. Um, and what surprised me about the grief was the range of emotions. Like I went through denial first, like, no, this isn't happening. I kept hoping that she was going to get better. Like they haven't found a cure, but maybe they'll find one now with my mom, and then she'll get better and she'll come back and she'll be herself. And and it's funny because I actually had a dream that happened. Had a dream that she kind of sat up one day and was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And we were like, what do you mean? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've lost time. And we were saying, like, well, you had amnesia. What else? Not amnesia, Alzheimer's. So we're going through all of this. And she was like, oh, man. And then she was back to herself. And what was so interesting about that is I had put in a grocery order with Kroger's. They have the refrigerated thing here. They don't actually have the store.
Hmm.
And I had ordered um, what else? Tomatoes on the vine.
Mhm.
Mm.
So they said then, and so then they told me that they didn't have it, and they were like, "We'll give you some Roma tomatoes." So I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." I just wanted 8. I didn't want a whole whatever. So the orders delivered is a Saturday morning. I had that dream. I want to say Thursday or Friday. So they delivered the groceries, and I'm going through, and I'm like, "Man, what is this in the bag?" I thought it was oranges. So
Hmm.
instead of giving me, they actually end up having the tomatoes on the vine. So instead of giving me 8 individual Roma tomatoes, they gave me 8 bunches of vines tomatoes. They're like 4 or 5 of those in a bunch. I had 40 tomatoes. And I'm sitting here like, what in the world I'm going to do with all these tomatoes? This don't make no sense. So I normally on the weekend I didn't go visit her. I visit her during the week because I would take the girls by and everything. So I called 2 girlfriends. They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll take some." And I was like, "You know what? Let me just pass by my dad. He didn't live that far from me, and I'll give him some." So I went to the house. he was like, "Oh, hey, come in, let's have some tomatoes." He's like, "All right." He's like, "Come in. Your mom is sitting in the chair in the back." Now, when I went to go see her earlier that week, she was in a chair. That chair where they have to. It's like a recliner,
Mhm.
but it's the medical one where it kind of lets you let the patient stand straight up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was in. That was that was. He's like, "Oh," so I went in thinking she was in that chair. She wasn't in there. She was in the downstairs guest room, but she was sitting up in the corner chair that she would normally sit in, all by herself. And I'm like, "Hey, mom." She says, "Hi." She didn't speak to me before this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting goosebumps because I'm thinking like, "Oh my gosh, I just had this dream that my mom was back to herself." So I'm like, I start asking her questions. She's answering all my questions. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I had bent down on the floor, and I hadn't planned to stay. So I had to go because there was something else at the house I had to get back to with the kids. So I was like, "Well, I got to go, mom. And can I give you a hug?" She was like, "Yes." So I hugged her. She hugged me, and she hugged me back and hugged me tightly. And I was like, "I love you and I miss you." She was like, "I miss you and I love you too."
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And after that time, that was the last time that I had a conversation with my mother. And it was as if God gave me a moment back with my mother. And even, I want to say, like a couple of days before she actually passed, she had got to the point where she no longer was opening her eyes. And
Mhm.
I went to go see her. She was in the bed, and I was like, "Hey, mom." I would rub her hair and stuff, and her eyes would always be closed. So I'm standing there talking to her. We would always used to joke back and forth. So I'm joking, da da da. Maybe I'll get. She actually opened her eyes and was looking at me.
Mhm.
And then 3 days later, my dad called and said, "Your mom has gone to sleep."
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So, and I'm saying all that to say, with OJ, your wife saying to you, everything's going to be okay, with you talking to Rob and him saying everything's going to be okay, we each has been given that moment, that one moment in time where it's
Window.
almost like God is trying to tell you, "I got this,
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
them, and I got you." And so I just wanted to share that with you. Um, the grief has definitely been different. I have moments of anger, have moments where I feel anxiety, where I don't know what these emotions are. It'll come out of nowhere sometimes. I have guilt because I'll have times where I don't think about her or I don't grieve and I feel guilty about not grieving. And then there's times where it'll hit me out of nowhere, and I'm like, "What is wrong with me?" And my girlfriends or friends are like, and my husband, like, "You're still grieving." I'm like, "Am I? Because it's been so long." They're like, yeah, but I just, it's, it's weird. There's no like answer for it. You know what I mean? Like, I did the grief counseling with group of people, and actually that was great, but I don't like to sit in my emotions a lot. I don't like to be vulnerable in that crying space, hurting space. So I don't necessarily want to go sit and talk with somebody about it on the couch. So I would rather just not, like think about my mom, be like, "Oh, I can't wait to see her again if that moment comes," and just kind of move along because I don't want to sit in it. So that's my little piece with with that, to answer the question and share a little bit with you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
You're
Mhm.
welcome.
Adrian, did you want to share?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I totally agree. There's a myriad of emotions, and it ebbs and flows. Some days I'm like down, 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 and some days I'm up. What has surprised me most is every portion of it, because I've experienced sadness before. I've experienced loss before. But the 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 gutting that I felt,
Hmm. Hmm.
I've never experienced that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, nothing, no loss, nothing prepared me
Hmm.
for this. And you know what? God has been so faithful. He is so faithful because he has carried me from that point to this one. Now, I am very open with my emotions. I am very in tune with them, but I'm also one who immediately got in therapy because I was in a bad way. I was in a bad way. Um, I spent, I just turned 50 in October. I spent over half my life with someone and grew with this person and, built a family, went through everything, ups, downs, in betweens, everything. So, grief, what has surprised me is that I would say that even through in spite of all of the grief I've experienced, and comparing it to the grief of losing Rob, you know what surprises me is that I am standing, that
Mm.
I'm still standing. And it's only by the grace of God. It's only because of his faithfulness. I I'm being very honest. I was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Honestly, I was in therapy and I have learned to sit in my emotions. When they're high, go with it. But when I ain't got it, go
Mhm.
with it.
Mhm.
And just, I don't have it for anybody today. You know, life moved on. I don't like to say that, but it has moved forward. I have moved forward. Um, but like even with sharing with you all, I'm telling you, I'm day to day, I'm doing all right.
Mhm.
But when I go back into that place, and it can be sharing it on a platform or sitting on my couch in my family room and I just think about something, it's always going to take me to that place of devastation. But what I'm grateful for are the beautiful memories and the times we had. And, somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Tony that said that I regret, I hate that we're not able to share the things that happen now. And there are some times that I'm like, babe, I gotta figure all this out on my own. And I had a real partner. Like I wasn't in this thing on my own. I wasn't in parenthood on my own. I wasn't in figuring out life on my own. And now to be having to do it, even simple stuff like wash my car.
Mhm. Mhm.
It took me forever to go to a hand car wash because my husband took care of that stuff for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I went in there and was like, oh my gosh. And then yesterday I went to the car wash. I was like, look at me doing this thing, going to the car wash.
The car wash.
The car
Yeah.
wash.
We're
There
so
you
I
go.
proud of you,
told
Adrienne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta get the props where you can,
There
like.
you go. There
But
you go.
I did tell the Lord, I'm tired of driving myself everywhere. I'm tired of carrying these bags. But anyway,
Well, that being said, do you think that you're in a place where you are ready to start dating?
hmm.
OJ, get your answer ready. I'm coming for you too.
I think you answered that one.
You know what? Um, I think for the first 3 years it'll be 4 in December. So we just hit 3 this past December.
Mhm,
I think before my mind couldn't even fathom that.
mhm,
But now I'm kind of like, well,
Mhm.
maybe I'm open. Maybe I'm open to conversation. I don't know. It's like it's a double-edged sword. It's like part of me misses companionship. So
mhm.
that's honest.
Yeah.
Um, but then the other part of me is so afraid. And when you've spent so much time with one person, so afraid to even get back out there and learn somebody new and do this and do that. And so, I mean, the short answer is I'm open to conversation,
Mhm.
and if it leads to anything, then
Mm,
maybe,
mm,
Okay,
mm,
because I know sometimes people feel like they have found their forever person, so they were
Mm,
one and done, and they're,
mhm,
but there is that miss of companionship, the honest part that you were saying. So
mhm,
yeah, yeah. What about you, OJ?
Well, with me, like I said, I don't think I would be against it, but to be honest with you, hell, I don't even know how to date. Um,
mm,
real.
to be 100% honest with you, like I said, uh, yeah, I've had two girlfriends in my whole life. And one girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, when I was in college, and then and Judith, and I knew Judith before I knew her,
Mhm.
and the really Judith is really the reason why I'm probably not with the first girlfriend, because I always had the thing for Judith,
Yeah,
so
Mhm.
yeah.
then
Mhm.
so and then moving forward from then up until now, you know, well up until till Judith passed, I was always with her. So to be honest, I mean, I never really, like I say, quote unquote, dated.
Mhm.
mm,
I say even through like high school, I mean, like through college, um, you run around. You run around and stuff, some in college and everything like that. But like I say, and then what I do now, being how, like I say, I'm over the road trucker, and it's hard to establish relationships like that. I mean, it's like our relationship worked because we've known each other. I mean, me and my wife relationship worked because we known each other the whole time, and I mean, she like knows me. I'm not trying to get to know somebody,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
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 So,
yeah. You already
so
did that process already. We
yeah.
already did the get to know each other. Like I knew you.
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, and then like, so what I've noticed, like I say, I haven't really, seen quote unquote dated, but then a couple of people who I have talked to or whatever, it's like they don't know me, so it's like, I mean, and then what I do, I mean, the way I do now, it takes a lot of time. Like I say, once again, like I say, the way my work is,
Mhm.
I do everything. I
The
mean, it's
way
like,
my job is set up,
yeah, I, I do everything, and then like I say, then when I'm going, then when I get home, I have to do everything here.
Yeah.
It's like
Uh-huh.
I don't have that partner that I mean, like I say, because
Mhm.
before, basically, I mean, when Judith was alive, she pretty much ran everything at the house.
the day to day.
So I mean, on top of her work and take care of the kids, she still, I mean, basically all I had to do was work. I mean, she took a lot of pressure off me. But like, see now, it is like everything is on me now.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I say, when it comes to, I mean, like I say, I guess like meeting somebody else, and like I say, yeah, if I don't call you for a week or what, I mean, you thinking I'm with somebody else, and that ain't even much the case. I'm
Yeah,
doing like
yeah,
yeah, I mean, basically like I say, it's just hard
Yeah. Yeah.
to be able to get to know somebody
for
now,
sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like both of you guys had gotten real comfortable with your mate,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
life was going on. As they would say, life was lifing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Now all of
Mhm.
a sudden, you've been hit with this big monkey ranch, and you still have to life.
Mhm.
But then, there's I'm sure there's some part of you that still want that companionship.
Mhm.
And how do I move forward? How do I step out and, you
Right.
know, obtain this companionship? And is it going to be are we going to compare it from Rob and Judith, So there's
Right.
just so many aspects
Mhm.
of this potential, dating and moving forward with a different partner
Mhm.
that you have to add into this equation.
Mhm.
And I don't envy you guys. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. And then you
yeah,
have children that, you got to do all of that. And Yeah, that's. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, but it's tough. I mean, like I say, with me, like I say all my
All your
kids
kids are grown.
they're pretty much grown.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, but you still have girls, so girls are with their
So,
dads with the
so,
new
so that was
woman.
my yeah. So
yeah,
that was my question.
Yeah,
That you are ready to. Let's say you guys are ready to date. How
Mhm.
will the kids allow you guys to move
yeah,
forward?
grown or not.
You know.
um, well, like I say, I don't know.
I told my dad no, just stay single. You good. Good. You got us. We love you. You got your grandkids. You good. You good.
With my daughters, I think they wouldn't mind. They kind of want me to, what I'm saying, to move on and 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 explore whatever. But like I said, I don't know. It's just all I got the time really to do right now is just work and keep my household going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it'd be a big issue with my daughters. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
At least I hope not. Yeah, I don't
My kids ain't going for it.
know.
Yeah.
They not. They not. They tell me often. And I'm like, listen here now. Y'all have y'all lives, y'all. I have three adult children, right?
Mhm.
And my oldest has his own family, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two middle ones are 24 and 22. And then I have my 13-year-old. So they nobody is really like checking for their mama to have a friend or nothing like that. Nobody. They all are so opinionated about my life.
Hmm.
So my oldest, when I take myself out to dinner or something, he'll FaceTime me and be like, pan to the other side of the table.
Yeah, I need you
Oh
to
my
pan the
goodness.
restaurant. Pan
Yes.
the restaurant. Yeah.
Let me make sure you out here by
Yeah.
yourself. And sometimes I'll be like, listen here. I'm about to go out to dinner with my friend. Ain't going with nobody. And then he'll be like, okay, well, we going to dinner with your friend.
Look at that.
So I don't know. And I have two boys, two girls, and it's really nobody really rallying for me to like. So I don't know.
Now, speaking along the lines of dating, but just overall, just in life,
Mhm.
is there a sense of like guilt moving forward? Like not to say that you will ever not feel that loss, but as you stated earlier, Adrian, sometimes we have to move forward, right?
Mhm.
Do
Mhm.
you find any sense of guilt in moving forward?
I do. I
Mm,
do. Man, initially I struggled so with I struggle with even like being alive
mm,
because when Rob got COVID, inadvertently he gave me COVID, he gave Chloe COVID, and we were fine. We
Mm.
were able to recover at home, right? It killed him.
mm,
That was heavy.
Mm.
And not only was it heavy for me, it was heavy for my daughter. We
Yeah.
carried that, and then when that guilt passed, because we just didn't know the path COVID was gonna take. So then I accepted that. But the guilt of when I sometimes experience joy, it's crazy. It's crazy the things that guilt, grief, loss, all of that can do to your mindset.
mm-hmm.
And I know my husband. I knew the type of person that he was, and he was the type that would demand, if he could, he would demand. that I move on with life, that I go forward, that I do this and be happy and experience joy. And I do, for the most part, I try to do that because I know He would want me to live and live the life we were living. So I still try to travel. I still try to do the things that we did together. But sometimes when I'm like enjoying something so good, I'm out of nowhere to be like, he won't get this.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of brings me down, you know. But I'm telling you, from 3 years ago to now, it's gotten a little better as far as the guilt. It still hits, but not as frequently because I am coming to terms with He would not want me to be stuck in sadness,
Mm-hmm.
stuck in before He left. He would not want me to be stuck. And in order for our family to thrive and move on, I have to move on because my kids are very much attached to me.
For sure.
So if I'm stuck, they're going to be stuck.
Yeah.
And so as I'm moving and accomplishing, they are doing the same things, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
is there a guilt sometimes with life, experiencing life, having fun, seeing something new? I went to Greece for my birthday, right? It was my 50th. I'm like, I'm going to Greece. I'm absolutely going to Greece. And I went and I had the most wonderful time. But I cried like a baby one night when I was there because I'm like, we're supposed to do this together. But I was so grateful that I was able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's the ebb and flow of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep. Jay, same thing.
Well, with me, I said, kind of bear with me because I might, you know, what I'm saying, be all over the place here a little bit. But like I said before, this is really my first time, you know, saying talking on this level,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, listening to you, Adrienne, listening to like Nikki, I can tell y'all are a lot more in tune to your emotion and your feelings. You know what I mean?
That, that
Being
that's
able
that's
to
typical
being
women,
able to describe
you
it, yeah,
know.
being able to describe and realize what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with me, like I say, I spend a lot of time by myself. Like I say, I'm a truck driver. I mean, so I spend a lot of time by myself, and like I say, so it's still. I mean, everything has gotten better for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, I mean, to this, but like I say, I can be in the truck. You know, what I mean, and like certain thoughts, my eyes still get watery. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I say, when you know, what I'm saying, well, I like have those thoughts. So
Yeah.
it hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so uh, like I say, and then like I say, I'm gonna go back, like I say, when you was talking about earlier about about everything happening all of a sudden. I mean, when I go back to that day in the hospital, till the day everything happened, not at it wasn't at one single point that I thought we wasn't going home together.
No,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about the whole time, even when everything started happening at the house, and I jumped on the road and everything started happening. I pulled into the fire station, and when I got to the hospital, but at no point did I think
right.
that So I mean, so like you say, it was all of a sudden, and like I say, and my biggest thing when it comes to regrets is like I say, with me having three daughters, it was just them not having their mother around.
Mm-hmm.
That's what bothered me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I say, because I mean, once again, I was always in the house, full of women, so it was like they were all real tight.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yeah.
like, and then once especially with our oldest daughter and the mom, they like, they like best friends.
Yeah.
And then I guess with the, like I said, because the middle girl, she was in college, and my baby girl, it was happening at the end of her junior year, so she was going into her senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like I say, with Judith passing, it happened right at the, I mean, May 22nd, right at the basically the end of the school year.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I and then like I say after everything happened, like I say I can remember that like summer, and like I say I don't know if I ever mentioned it straight to you like Tony, but um when everything happened, my frat brothers they gifted me a good portion of money,
Mhm.
so it helped me to like I say because I don't think I went back to work for almost like 4 months.
Mhm.
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 But so that little gift they gave me, it gave me space
Yeah. Yeah.
to
To grieve.
sit in my thoughts and everything, where I
Mhm.
didn't have to just get straight back into
To-
my like
Mhm.
routine.
Yep, yep,
Mhm.
yep, yep.
So like I say, and then like I said, once again, I mean, I didn't do. I mean, I encourage my daughters to like do it,
Hmm.
to do therapy and everything like that. Like I said before, they did a little bit, and the thing with me, because when I was younger, when my mom and my dad they got a divorce and everything, my mom she tried to force me to go to
Mhm.
therapy.
Mhm.
I remember one time, and like I say, I just never liked it. I remember one time she came and picked me up to school, and I didn't know where we was going. Then I'm like, I didn't want to sit there, and
Just
I mean, like I say, I did it a couple of times, but then it's like, I mean, I didn't want to sit there and talk to the to the older white man, and like I
Yeah,
like I say, Mary since then it's like, I mean, so it's like I don't know, so I, maybe I do maybe need to try it
yep,
again,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
but
yeah.
but um but yeah, so like I said, once again, I didn't do it myself, but like I said, I do spend a lot of time myself and my thoughts and everything,
Yeah.
and shoot, man, I don't forgot where I was going with it, but
That's
you know,
okay. You right where you're
but,
supposed
like, see, no, I know I was talking about, like, say, I'm talking about my like daughter. So that was my biggest thing was just like say just worrying about them,
to. Mhm.
and my whole life is just that's all it's been was just trying to provide a stable environment for them. That was our goal. Was like
Yeah.
me and my wife. We had I mean, so we had a little agreement because um, like I said, my daughters and stuff. They they really talk to her a lot. It's like
Yeah,
she would, I mean, she would tell me what's going on, but it's not like, you know,
they
it's
came to
not like I,
dad. It's not like they came to
right,
dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
you know. So it's like I say now, whenever issues was going on, it's like they talked to her.
Hmm.
She like let me know what's going on, and then
Yeah.
I was worried about, saying that bridge between me and my daughters being gone,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and so I mean that's basically what I still pretty much worry about, worry about now to this day, but um, they all seem to be. Good, like I said, uh, my oldest daughter, she just since she just had her first child, and
Hmm.
I used to always, it kind of broke my heart, but I used to tell her, so when she was planning, she would tell me, I used to, but I used to tell her, you got to remember, I mean, I'm not going to be able to help you too much. You're doing a lot of, but you're doing a lot of your own. Your mom not here to
Hmm.
like help you,
Mhm.
Hmm.
So,
Mhm.
but so I got so my sisters is everybody. I mean, everybody pretty much has stepped up in my family to like help. With my sisters and her aunt and everything like that. But that's just basically my whole thing was just worrying about my daughters, and that's that's my biggest regret. My biggest um my I don't know, my biggest grief, I think,
Hmm.
is just them not having their mother
Mom,
there.
for sure,
You
for
know,
sure, for sure. You know.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sharing that. I think we'll wrap it up with this. Uh, I'm sure there's a lot of others that's probably going to watch this podcast that are potentially all going through the same thing that you guys are going through. So
Mhm.
I would, if there was something that you can say, what encouragement would you give someone that has lost a husband, a wife, a mother, a father, even a child? What encouragement would you give them while they're going through their grieving process?
That's a tough question.
I think that I would say number one, your feelings are they're valid. It's okay to not be okay. It sounds cliche, but we're taught to be strong, to deal with things. And yes, women, we deal with our emotions. We are probably the more emotional creatures. However, there are a lot of women who, my daughter, my 22-year-old, she's a nursing student. My daughter will do everything in life not to necessarily sit in her grief too long. She will feel her emotion and kind of move on quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just talked to her about that because what I'm saying is it's okay to feel that. It's okay to be ticked off about it. It's okay to not want to get out the bed a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then the next day we're trying to get up and move. So I'm saying it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not have it to give to other people. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you are not feeling it, it's okay to not have it for somebody else, regardless of what people need from you. You got to take care of you first. Deal with that emotion, stand in it, sit in it, and then get up. But
Mm-hmm.
nobody can rush your process. Nobody can rush your process. I'm 3 years and some change in, and at even any given moment, I can break down like it just happened because my experience was real, my love was for sure real.
Mm-hmm.
So the depth of my loss is just as real. And that's going to come out how it's going to come out. And it's okay for yours to come out as long as we're doing it in a healthy way. And by healthy, I mean by not trying to turn to vices to help us soothe that ache, soothe that pain. I'd rather deal with it head on than to drink it away, smoke it away, whatever any other thing you can do to not deal with that. Deal with it how you can and give the biggest thing, give yourself grace.
Mm.
Give yourself grace. There is no there's no handbook. There are plenty books on grief, but there is no handbook on how you, Adrienne, how you, OJ, how you, Nikki, how you, Tony, how you, anybody out there is to deal with your grief and your loss. Loss is loss. So I don't put one person above the other, but when it's you and it's your loss, it's going to hit you a different way than it may hit somebody else. And that's okay. Be gracious to yourself. Be kind to yourself to say, it's okay. Even if you don't handle certain things the way other people think you should, it's okay. If you lose your cool sometimes, it's okay. Be gracious and then move on. Move on. That's there's no right wrong. There's no way to do it. Do the best you can. Try to stand up and be the best you. Now I'm in the phase of being the best me, showing up as my best self,
For sure.
and figuring out who that is post my husband, because we were a team. We were a we. Now it's just me. So figuring out who that is without that person, your other person, your significant other. It's all a learning curve, and we just figuring it out as we go. I figure as long as I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
it's a journey, but as long as I'm journeying through, I'm gonna get through it because God is going to be sure that I do. So
What's up?
that's my answer.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Jay?
Well, for me, like I said, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I keep on saying that I haven't really, dealt with these thoughts. And so what I would say to somebody else would be, um, don't listen to me. you know, I would say, whatever you feel you have to do, that's what you do. And, because I'm still dealing,
Mm, yeah.
and
That's real.
they say, but like I say, I appreciate what you said, Adrian. I appreciate those words. And then like, even earlier, I mean, like I say, because I still struggle. I still replay that day in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in my heart, I know what I was doing, and that like I say, even now, like you said, if it was to happen again, I know I would do the same thing because I know what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But the outcome,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
it's like I be wanting to. I try to feel like I try to struggle with if I did something different, would the outcome be different? And like I said, like I just said, at not at one point did I think that
Right.
we wasn't coming home together. But I mean, what I would say to other people is just um, just do the best you can do.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's the like I said. I, I don't even feel comfortable being able to tell somebody else what to do because I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey,
Mhm.
that's actually great advice.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
because that's real.
because sometimes we want to sit here and BS folks, and just being real with yourself and stating,
Mhm.
"Hey, man, I'm still grieving and I'm
Yeah,
still trying to figure it out."
yeah.
That's the answer. You know,
Yeah.
as
Mm-hmm.
Adrian just stated, you didn't go and hide in the bottle. You
Mhm.
didn't go and hide
Mhm.
in whatever vice that you may have been able to hide yourself in. You just said, you know what, I don't know how to deal with it right now, but
Mhm.
I'm just going to put one foot ahead of the other,
Yep.
Yes.
and I'll
Yes.
figure it out later,
Mhm.
and that's what you're doing, Jay. So don't sell yourself short.
That's right.
As Adrian said, give yourself some grace, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. You
Yeah,
still taking care of the home. You
yeah,
still
Yes.
taking care of the family.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you just haven't taken care of yourself yet,
Mhm.
but you still taking care of everybody else around you, and that's your
Yes.
personality. you
Yes.
know. So
Yeah.
just give
thank
yourself some grace, man.
appreciate
Mhm.
Yeah, give
Mhm.
yourself some grace.
You'll come around to you when you feel it is ready and how you feel is ready for you. It'll be plain for what's good for you. So
For
Absolutely.
sure.
there's no rush. You take your time in that. No matter what anybody else says, just like Adrian said, you do it on your schedule, nobody else's.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Adrian. Thank
Yes,
you,
thank
OJ, for
you.
sharing your
it.
story with us today. And this has been an episode of Between Friends. See you guys next